Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Please settle. I let you take your place. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And so a warm welcome to you all to this final oral presentation of this P20 cohort. Just a few words about these projects, the M2 projects they're going to present to us. So the same remembering as always. You know that there's going to be 6 teams today talking to you. Each team is constituted of 9 to 13 students. They are organized as a studio, and they have worked on the conception and part of the pre-production of a whole game, and they're going to present their games to you. You see the 6 ones here. As you all know now, we started in September, at the end of September, so it's about 4 months ago. And we are at our 3rd encounter with you, jury of professionals. And so they had this time to develop their concept and develop a kind of vertical slice. And they followed the exchange they had with you for that. So many thanks to you to be there, to follow us online, but also to be there. Thank you to the jury. We are really happy to have you here, and we value very much the exchange we have with you. You know that we thank you for asking all the questions you have, share the remarks and suggestions to the students. Thank you for all these feedbacks shared. So we hope to have as rich exchange today as usual. We will wait for you to complete the evaluation file as well today. This will be the final one. So one thank you to you too. And a particular thanks to the godmother, Sandrine, who is there as each time. It was really great to have you and to follow this cohort today. I will give you the mic for a few words this morning, even if you're going to conclude the day today, but maybe first few words. So warm welcoming to Sandrine too, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. I'm not going to say much because everything's going to happen after, so I'm not going to be long. I've had a sneak peek yesterday of the work done, and I was amazed, as usual, with Enjmin, and they did a really incredible work, and I hope you're going to see that, and I hope you're going to feel all the passion that they have put in their work. So thank you all. You did a tremendous work, but I'm sure I'm going to say much more after.
Thank you. So, final words. Let's go. Enjoy today. 6 teams today, 6 games. They have about 30 minutes. Each team has about 30 minutes to present. We will have about a quarter to discuss with them. So, let's go. Let's a warm welcome and encouragement for them, please.
So, hello everyone, and thanks for coming again. We're all really excited to show you all of our projects today. But for our first stop, let's actually hop on a train, put on a magical suit, and maybe just enjoy a bit of mundane.
Now I'm going to let you imagine that you're not students anymore. You're not our M2 project professional jury anymore. You are born in the 2000s. You grew up watching TV series and surfing on the internet. You grew up with watching or reading things like Sailor Moon, Cat Captor Sakura, The Wings, Tokyo Mew Mew. All these stories are about magical girls, a genre imported from Japan, slice of life shows about girls that have superpowers and save people. These are highly emotional stories about normal teenager problems and also a double life where the protagonist transforms herself into a magical form with a shiny outfit. These are stories about responsibilities to save people and growing up to become the person you are meant to be. And now you've grown up, you're an adult person, and you have to face another type of responsibilities, such as your rent, job, family, friends, so many things. And you can still rely on these stories, but you're a little bit bored of the original setting of the magical girl genre. Japan, teenage. You would very much like a game that talks about these thematics in a more adult point of view. Our game is for you. Welcome in CU Star Station.
All right, so what is CU Star Station? CU Star Station is a 3D game planned to be released on PC and on the Nintendo Switch. The wonderful but imperfect world in which our game takes place is a highly narrative, and it's highly narrative and includes codes from several genres, such as visual novels, the dialogues and an emphasis on narration, investigation, a kind of Ace Attorney, Persona-like, and of course a little twist, a touch of dynamic gameplay with action boss fights and focusing on a non-violent objective that you'll see a bit later.
So we aim to create a magical girl game while modernizing the genre. In CU Star Station, you play as Alaya, a 24 years old young woman, who is also a junior magical girl working for an independent magical agency. So she travels around to get contracts and save people. But most importantly, she doesn't have any idea what to do with her life. But she's curious and ready to make things better. Of course, she's not alone on her journey, as she's followed by her best ally and friend, her front sidekick, Qualo. They might be a bit cynical, but they are kind-hearted and a good advisor. On her quest for meaning, she'll meet wacky friends and also deadly enemies. She will laugh, panic, and cry, but her emotion will make her stronger.
So CU Star Station stands on 3 main pillars. First of all, modern magical girls, a brought up to take on the magical girl tropes set in Europe, magic, sparkles, and a dazzling aesthetic, all that. Secondly, memorable encounters. You meet, befriend, and best colorful friends and foes. Again, that you'll see in a bit. Can't wait. And of course, find your place. It's our narrative pillar, a story about self-questioning through the beauty and loneliness of travel. A bit of nostalgia. Speaking of.
So, as you can see, Alaya's journey will be rough. For each contract, she'll have to investigate the magical threat and then defeat it. So, in between contracts and towns, when she takes the train, she'll actually use this time to kind of introspect on her life, a time she needs. So, this is a short game sequence to show you what it looks like. Sequences will focus on dialogues, but also player choices and the visual novel aspect of CU Star Station. Here, Alaya will first talk with Qualo about their last contract, and then she'll be introspecting by herself. These moments highly rely on mood and emotions, so we kindly invite you to play it by yourself and try out later in your own context. Talking about emotions, there is actually more to these sequences than that. In each chapter, 3 emotions can take the lead on Alaya's mind, and might affect her mood for the whole contract she'll be in after. Choices players make will gradually affect her mood and lead her thoughts to one of these three emotions. So here, for example, Alaya in this chapter will be anxious about her next contract and can either choose to be more assertive and try to prove herself something, or nostalgic, a bit more turned on the past. So if we choose confidence, she'll get more and more questions related to that. She'll get more choices related to the confidence. She'll maybe want an ally that is useful and that won't slow her down. Then maybe she would want for acknowledgement, to be accepted, to be respected. Maybe she wants the world to recognize her. But what if we took the other path? If she took the other way, maybe she would have been more nostalgic. She would have experienced something more about friends, about a need for community, a need for empathy. And this is some of the two paths you can have leading to two specific emotions, the attention need and the loneliness. But there's actually a third path, which is kind of the rebel use side of it. Well, she wants to burn everything, kind of. So these three emotions will actually be part of something bigger, what we call emotional palettes. There'll be 7 of them in the total game, and they can have a lot of emotions like guilt, desire, nostalgia, as we said, very subtle feelings, but they're all part of something bigger and easier to categorize. After the choices made in the train, Alaya will be associated with one of these emotional palettes, and we'll keep it for the whole chapter, changing little interactions, but mostly, as you'll see later, a magical transformation, of course. For this playthrough, we chose the ego emotional palette as we chose the attention need path, and let's see how she handles her contract with this in mind.
Okay, let's begin with some context. Okay, for now we have 2 objectives: explore the city and find our partner that we can see in our to-do list in the corner. The city looks like a coliseum, and there seems to be a big stage in the central square. Now, let's go for a walk. Wow, the stream seems empty, but noisy. And what are all those screens? Maybe that kid can tell us more. Here, you can ask questions to the NPCs to get some information. We can skip the dialogue if we want to, and it will bring us back to the hub of choice. By asking questions, we can unlock new topics, like here. When we learn something important, it will be automatically added to the codex, and we can check it again whenever we want through the main menu. Here, we learned from Valentino that the local idol Brad Waycast is fond of battles. But there's more. When we finally meet Salome, our partner, and we share what we know, if we ask Valentino about Brad and his duels with other idols, we can talk to her about it. If you are interested in all those conversations, you are invited to test them this afternoon. For now, we still have a lot to show you. But just know that if you skipped a dialogue you didn't want to, you can still read it in the log, also accessible through the main menu. And here it is. Now it's time to give you the rundown of what comes next to finish this investigation.
Okay, so now we're going to do a quick summary of the narrative phase to explain what happens before the boss fight. In the park, Salome reveals the whole town is in love with that weird idol Broadway cast. Alaya then meets Damien, who informs her that the sewers connect the whole city from within. But he doesn't let Alaya pass. He's guarding the entrance and won't talk to strangers. Back into the street, Valentino is now missing. Raph, the third triplet, offers a deal. If we free Valentino from Brad's spell, he'll guide us through the sewers. When Alaya goes to the square, it is so crowded, and she can walk through it to access the stage. But something feels off. What's that? Alaya discovers, with the help of her power, that all the screens in the town are in fact powered by invisible evil creatures, the love stages. That's how Brad extends his spell to the whole city. Knowing this, she goes back to the strange station, where she meets and confronts the Love Stage matriarch, the leader of the Love Stages. She discovers all the truth and can't escape her duty anymore. To end this threat, she has no other choice than taking Brad down. Going back to Balcony Hill Park, Alaya discovers that now Salome got charmed by Brad. She's running out of time. Now aware of the truth, Damien and Raph accept to open the sewer's entrance. Alaya finally reaches the stage, entering by a secret pass in the backstages. It is now time to fight this incredible foe.
Okay, so now you're ready to go to Brad's awesome concert. Seriously, I love that guy. Do you know that he was a Leo and that his favorite color was green? Actually, I don't know why we didn't rename the game something like See You Brad Wakest. Anyway, hello to this final presentation, M2 presentation.
Oh, no.
See You Brad Wakest.
Excuse me, sorry for this. This is not what was supposed to happen. Actually, now you can see what Brad does to people. And this is absolutely not what we want, of course. So, yeah, actually, we want to fight this. And Alaya will have to go quick. And she'll have to use all our emotions together to help Salome, to help Westladder, and maybe help Brad himself. So, let's give it a go and go face Brad, okay? Let's try out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Let's do this!
Well, welcome one and all. Give me a B. Get this RAD ready. For Brad Wakest.
Did he even notice you, girl? He's right in front of us, but he doesn't seem to care.
On and on the stage, a new one. Round of applause for her, the super starlet, one-time performer.
Oh, my bad. He definitely noticed you. It's okay. You got this, girl.
Back to Brad, baby. I'm the one you want. Your star, you're me. Today's menu, lights, drama, action, a little bit of romance.
Romance?
Kick the drum, break the wall. It's showtime, y'all.
Okay, so Brad wants to take a fight. It seems you have no choice to avoid his furious attack and wait for an opportunity to talk to him and try to reason him out of his evil. To do this, your only way is to use your emotions as a magical girl. To try to reach him, and that's your luck, because Brad seems to be dropping some of his emotion on the stage floor. So try to pick them. Also, to help you, you are a magical girl, so you can use your magical ego suits and your magical powers to try to convert health into emotions. Doing this, you have a chance to gather emotion faster, but also be careful, this is quite risky.
Hey, Broadway cast! Did you think magical girls would see through your bullshit?
Hey, honey girl, why so serious?
In the name of Nebula Down Agency, I'll end this show.
Ooh, interesting. You already pulled up quite the moves for a newcomer. But if anything, I'm a winner. No magical babe can best me.
As you can see, you have several choices while talking to Brad. Each choice will consume exactly one emotion on the top left corner, and each choice will lead to a different path. You will have to use the knowledge you acquired during the game to choose the best answers. Some of them should be more efficient and should lead to a more impact on Brad. Be careful, if you run out of points, you will have to go back to the fight.
Hey, my entrance was pretty sick, and it just stays to what's to come.
Not bad, but still not Brad. Glad you didn't ruin my flow.
How come you're not surprised to see me? I was supposed to be kind of a plot twist.
Twists are my thing, and what a twist you are, baby. You're my type. Lucky, I'll make your wishes come true, Boogie Boo.
Well, you're not my type at all. You!
Ha! You'll eventually fall for my 4K HD perfect features, sweet bun. Can't you feel this stormy air? Let's have fun.
We are not having fun together. There's nothing I hate more than shitty fuckboys like you. I'm not interested.
Yeah, getting angry. Drama. I'm the dramaturgy OG. Oh, what are you saying, my beloved audience? Enemies to lover is your favorite trope?
You're controlling them. Just stop. No one asked for this shit.
No one asked for this shit. Wah.
Oh my fucking stars. What are you, a baby?
No, you are my babe, and you can call me daddy.
Ew!
Hell no, predator move.
So what? Tension, we get attention. That's the trend, no need to rush like your shark friend.
Salome, what did you do to her?
Chill out, señorita. Such emotion suddenly. Oh my Brad. Your heart is pounding. Your eyes are sparkly. Stop thinking about her.
What are you on about? I'm not.
No time for distraction. No time for her. A bit of dancing will make your head right.
So now Halaya is going back to the fight, trying to gather more emotions to try to talk Brad out of his ego trip.
So, I hope you stop thinking about her. I'm your one and only lover. Y'all, let's focus on Brad's show, alrighty? B stands for keep your eyes on me.
Trying to reaffirm your worth again, like it's always about to crumble.
Crumble, girl, I never stumble. No one's vibe's equal to mine, cutie pie.
Look at you! You keep comparing yourself to others, searching for validation.
So what? They want passion. I'm their fruit. Passion fruit? The only validation I wish for is yours, a smelly flower.
Yeah, obviously we will not show the entire fight today. If you want to see the whole fight and what else the game has to offer, you will have to play it yourself. Reggie, please. Yeah, thank you.
You made it. You talked Brad off his ego trip. Congrats. It may seem that we had a good time laughing on his expense, but don't be too quick to judge him. We all kind of a Brad in a sense. Alaya is still around the mountain in this town. As a player, you can still talk to the NPCs to close their narrative arcs. Then when you're ready, you can get on the train again to your next destination.
On her next destination, Alaya will think again about what just happened. Brad opened up more and more about his hidden feelings, and so did Alaya, realizing she has much more in common with Brad than she might think when it comes to this need for attention. In this phase, you will again face choices that will determine your mood in the next chapter. It's not easy to find your place, and Alaya will have to try, fail, and learn a lot, but she will eventually realize that it's okay to search for it.
Over the course of 10 chapters, for a total of 10 to 12 hours, Alaya will experience her adventure, facing enemies with their own fears and reflecting the own she has. She'll start with her first optimistic steps, then learn about the role of the work industry in the search for your place, the role of social acceptation and love. She'll experience a stable and simple life, but she will have to go on, slowly losing hope in a society she can't control. And she'll end up taking time off with her magical sisterhood. And she'll realize how much she grew, now mentoring. But she will have to face the consequences of all her flaws and life choices in a harsh way. She will then give up, going back home to a life she didn't choose. Unless she realizes that finding your place isn't definitive nor magical, and it's okay. Don't give up, Alaya. These thematic arcs are all centered around an aspect of finding your place, which is our narrative pillar, that is always present on a symbolic and physical level. The third chapter was selected as our vertical slice because it allows us to present the evolutions of the emotions inside a chapter while still maintaining a light mood understandable by everyone. In addition, it's one of the first chapters, so Alaya hasn't evolved too much yet. Now let's talk about our target audience.
Since EU Star Station has multiple gameplay and systems, our target audience has also multiple axes and gamers to consider. Our target are mid-core and casual adult gamers, since it requires some skill, but we don't want it to be an obstacle for people less used to play video games, but still want to play due to the magical girl and narrative aspects of the game. Our primary target audience is narrative-driven players. They play to discover new stories, new characters, and like to play as someone else, and feel emotion throughout their game experience. We also have people fond of the magical girl aesthetic, of course, who can be gamers or not, but who want to experience a magical girl's adventure just like the ones they love to watch when they were a kid. Our secondary target audience is gameplay-oriented players who seek diversity in gameplay phases and objectives in what the game offers. We want to offer the possibility to our players, especially fond of narrative experiences, to find something they will enjoy in our game and that will resonate in them. To go with our target, we want to make accessibility features available for our narration and our gameplay. Our game has a remapping function for controller and keyboard and mouse. We also have the fast-forward dialogue, like you just saw earlier, and it's allowed the player to go directly to the next choice, and it could be especially useful if they want to experiment new choices or new suits on a new save. And we have also a story mode, which includes no fail mode, and we don't take any damages. So what's next now? It would be dialogue options such as the text typo or UI interface and the size. Okay, good. And also a high contrast option. What we mean by that is an option to highlight important elements to interact with.
Magical Girl as a video game genre is not so common, either there is quite a lot of media surrounding the genre. The medium is niche, but the market isn't. Our target audience is really eager for games like CEO Star Station. For now, a lot of indie games with small budgets have released to please them, games like The Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood or Refan Self. Some bigger games are now in production, like Nova Heart and The Witch's Bakery. This video game market is thriving, and we want to be part of it. What about our production? Our development, starting now, will last 2 years for a total cost of 950,000 euros. To break even, we need to sell 60,000 copies. We will publish the game on Steam and port it to Switch 2. Our communication plan will start with an influencer campaign. It pairs really well with our target audience.
This target is really present on social medias, on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, now Blue Sky, and also on the cosplay community. We already know cosplayers that are willing to promote our game.
Then we will do a crowdfunding. This will help us to leverage funds and sign with a publisher.
The community is really eager for this kind of game to exist, and they are ready to pay for it.
Then we will go to events and talk to people, find our target audience directly.
We thought about Japan Expo, Paris Games Week, Paris Manga, Pixel events, and so much more. People that are in these events right now are still invested in the Magical Girls for a good reason, and they could be interested in the renewal of the genre.
We plan to make a private beta to gain the loyalty of our community, and we plan to offer players a way to try the game during these events. Then we will end with another influencers campaign close to the release to hype everyone.
So, where will go Alaya after our Westlight era? Thank you for your attention. Here is the whole team. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. So who wants to start with the questions or remarks? Yes.
Hello, Rémi from Ubisoft. Thank you and congratulations for your performance and your game. I do have a question. I didn't get how having a different outfit. So I understood that depending on your dialogue choices, you will have a different emotion and then a different outfit. But I didn't get how having a different outfit will change the gameplay against the boss.
So, okay, each chapter you have 3 different ones. The one we had right here was Ego. So every time you have a special interaction button and you can use it to do something different. In our case here, the power was that you can transform one of your health points into a punchline point if you focus for a little while. So that was it, but it could be something else if you chose another emotion. We try to have them be not you have to use them to beat the boss, because obviously there's the swappability, but also because we want to keep it simple, so the dash isn't necessary, to be fair. Also, so it's also kind of our target audience. We're thinking about them. There you go.
Thank you.
Another question or remark? Yeah.
So great presentation again. Congratulations. Great delivery on the prototype. It seems awesome. I really like the doing it diegetically, like having one of you follow Brad on the posters and all that. I wanted to know about your budgeting. it seems a bit low. You have a really big team, you have a really long scope, and you plan to attend events, which is not cheap. So did you take that into account? Are you reducing your team? If so, is that going to impact your development? How are you solving that?
So the budget do not include the whole team here. So this is our team for the vertical slice. But if we want to produce a game, we need to reduce the team. So we will not be so many.
Okay, and you think that, so a follow-up question. Do you think that with less team you will still make it in, I think it was 2 years, you think?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, questions? Yeah.
Hi, Antoine from Ninja Theory. Thank you for the presentation and how brave it is to just play the prototype on stage. Like I remember when I was at your place, it was not even a question. So like, thank you for the performance. It was also really, really cool. My question is more about the art style. You mentioned at the beginning of the presentation something I didn't quite get in the other presentation, that you want to represent like magical set in Europe. How do you do this? Like maybe it's something that I missed when you did the presentation, but like why is it important to represent it in Europe, and what do you want to do to represent that?
Honestly, my main inspiration was one of my hometown in the surrounding of Paris. So basically, it's like a semi-urban setting, and actually representing things as we saw them during our childhoods or during our everyday life in Paris, and that pass through the mundane, the tag we can sew through the wall, even the look of climatizers, of chimneys or thing like this. So it passes a lot about not about what object we presenting, but how they look and how they are not a phantasm of them, but how we saw them in Europe and specifically in France. But we also took inspiration of other cities in Europe. That's also why buildings have shapes that are kind of a melting pot of different architectural movements. It's to also represent this kind of thing.
Thank you. To kind of just add on this, I'm really curious to just play it and also just see like with the time to explore and everything. But it feels like it's a theme that could be also really interesting to explore, like as part of the narrative, especially in the game set like the Y2K era, which is very internet, very international, trying to see if there's, let's say, a more European, a more French approach to this. Like how could that color the game? Sounds like a really interesting thing. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Some more questions or remarks? Yeah.
Thanks for the presentation. This is really cool. You did a really great job, and especially because like the first time that you presented this project, it really looks like one of the more ambitious ones, and we kind of warned you about that. And so it's really cool to see that you managed to push it to the vertical slice anyway and make such a good job of it. I did have a question / remark about the marketing plan. Because this is such a narrative-focused game, are you worried at all about influencers playing the game and revealing the stories for the player or not? Is that something you've thought about?
That's a good question. We don't really talk about, but I can tell something. But if we want to promote our game, we will obviously do a demo, which is specially done for streaming or revealing online without spoiling all the game.
And also the choices when you're talking to an NPC are really different depending on what suits you are. I mean, what emotion you are, So the replayability, in fact, is maybe 3 times per chapter.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Nicholas from Ubisoft. I have a question about difficulty settings. So you created a story mode, which is interesting for maybe more casual players that would be there for the art style and the magical girl experience. Have you thought of something for people that would be more oriented towards gameplay?
Thank you for your question. For the vertical slice, we didn't really thought about people who were there for more difficulty settings because we were more focused about the narrative experience, and so players were fond of a narrative experience but with a twist. But it will be a really, really interesting aspect of the game, of the whole game, to offer the possibility to have a more challenging boss fight here.
If you come back in a week, I'm cooking up a hardcore mode, so 1 HP,
Understood.
can't heal, can't use the power. If you use it, you die. It'll be fun. Anybody have any more questions or remarks?
Could you raise your hand again? Thank you.
Hello, Ubisoft, Bordeaux. First of all, thank you for the presentation. It was really entertaining. I really enjoyed the fact that you voiced your characters. It was really well done, especially with the stress you might have right now. So congrats again. My question was a question I think we asked at the beginning of the project, which was you have a systemic design that is using many powers. How do you prevent your players to choose a suit and have to do a choice between I want to play this suit because I really like it, but I will sacrifice a bit of my narrative choices because I won't be able to play the suit I would like to have. Is it something that you are concerned about, or is it something that is just a player choice and you will deal with it like that?
So we are aware about that some people can focus more on like enjoying their play style and focusing on it. But it's like that's player's choice actually, and we give the choice because that's a narrative game with many choices, narrative choices. So the idea of focusing on the narrative aspect or the gameplay aspect is also a player's choice.
I think you have the same situation in the combat where some of the choices you pick kind of resolve the combat quicker, some resolve them slower. You can make those choices efficiently if you want to, or you can not do that if you want to. We kind of want to give the agency to players that, again, are more focused on gameplay. Same thing with the exploration. You can kind of, B path towards the, or A path actually, towards the boss fight. But for players that are kind of more into the narrative aspect of the game, I think getting into the flow of it and really going with your own emotions and the dialogues that you feel connect the most to you is also super valid. So we kind of thought of both of them, and both are fine and acceptable.
Thank you. We still have time for a question or remark. Yeah.
Hi again. Mishka Delgado, by the way, from Argentina, from Fundao and Sage. So you have 7 emotions with 3 present on each chapter, right? But aren't you afraid that it can be a little bit underwhelming for players? Like if I want to keep exploring the ego of the character, and then I don't have that opportunity in the next chapter? Or are you making like 7 versions of each chapter, so 70 chapters in total?
Okay,
Thank you for the question. No, we are not making 7 versions of of each chapter because it's a lot. Actually, we have actually 3 chances to see a sparkle suit in the game. So if you can have ego 3 times in the total game, but Alaya still has some emotions and still has some experiences recorded that she remembers from the previous chapters. So if you chose ego before, then she might have a bit of, we might try to do a bit of remembrance of that, and like it will change a bit later on also. But more than this, each emotion makes sense in the chapter, in the context of the chapter. So if she was exploring ego before in this chapter, maybe on the next one she'll realize that it was delusional, maybe to have too much a need for attention, and then it will lead her to another emotion that would make sense in the narration, even for player that would want to follow the ego path. Actually, it would still make sense and will still be the interesting steps of the evolution of the ego. The emotions keep on changing, and if it's more on a gameplay question that you have, okay, no, then
no, thank you, thank you.
Just
Yeah, it was about the narrative, right?
If I can add something, I think the character, it's herself, Alaya, has a narrative arc where she progresses and everything. So the ego that you're gonna see at the start of the game is not gonna be the same ego that you see chapter 8. Obviously, it's gonna be stronger, or it's gonna be tainted by the emotions that she had during the whole playthrough. So I don't think that the redundance is gonna be that much of a problem, because if you get ego chapter 3, then you have like 4 chapters in between the next time that you see ego, and then you're confronted with an even bigger ego and an even stronger ego. Then it's interesting. There's a kind of a progression to the character that's something players kind of enjoy, I guess.
Hello, Amandine from Ubisoft. For the player who want to focus on gameplay, we want to see the stat. When you have your suit, I don't see any menu or something to say to know each power I have with my suit. It's plain, or we have something on it?
We're planning for, we don't have it in the vertical slice, but in the game we'd have a little onboarding sequence where the phone shows you a tiny bit of gameplay that you can do to learn how it works before each fight, and really get into it. So, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. I go to the next question. I need some power next time.
Giving you my sparkles.
Hi, Leili from Arte. So to follow up on the emotions questions, I was wondering, so I'm not sure to understand really, is it like each playthrough of the game would have different 3 emotions per chapter, or is it pre-planned? Is it possible for a player to go through the whole game without seeing all 7 emotional palettes? So I was wondering a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So each trio of emotions are planned on the chapters depending on what matters for Alaya. So there will be chapters where she will only mainly have negative emotional palettes when she feels lonely and angry and anxious, while sometimes she will be more happy and lighter. And so these emotions will mix depending on what she experienced on the contract before. So yeah, you can actually totally skip 1 sparkle suit, or even 2, or even 3. I didn't count. Yeah, I think you can skip some sparkle suits, and again, that's up to player choices.
Okay, so thank you very much for the answer. I was wondering about that. What did you think about the transitions between each chapter and the emotions? Because if you go from like the ego, because the player chose the ego side of Alaya, and then the next chapter might be more sad, how do you plan on creating this transition between 2 different emotions, sometimes very different emotions?
Yes. So there are two phases, two things that can change our emotion abruptly. Is first the boss that will like abruptly impact our emotion, our current emotion, especially the end of the boss, because she will usually realize something about her, and then in the train she will usually think about that and will spiral on that usually. So it will automatically change our emotion. If usually there are rarely two emotions that follow up in the two same sparkle suits that can follow up in the chapters actually. So it changes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for the questions and the exchange, and thanks to the team. And I will ask you to a round of applause for Alaya, Kualo, Brad, and all the team of CU Star Station. And let's welcome the next team. They make sound. We need few minutes to settle. It's gonna be ready in few moments.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to our project presentation, They Make Sounds. First of all, and because it's maybe the first time that you see us, just a quick presentation of the team. So, in tech and level design, we have Fire. In system and narrative design, Maxence. Me as producer, Théophile as technical programmer, Marina as gameplay UI programmer, Enzo as game audio designer, Margot as user researcher and UX UI designer, Brice as concept and UI artist, Benjamin for the 3D environment, level art, VFX, tech art and cinematic, and Anaïs for the 3D art and the character, and a special thanks to Jules, Paul and Emma-Louise for their help and their contribution to our project. So, what is They Make Sounds? They Make Sound is a third-person exploration game where you play an archaeologist descending from a gigantic abyss to study the ruins of a mysterious civilization. Equipped with the ancient artifacts, make your way even deeper into the abyss to unravel the secrets of this mysterious civilization and discover how their story relates to yours. Now that you know more precisely who we are and what the game is about, let's talk about the game experience. In first, just a global overview of the game. They Make Sound is a solo experience and will last around 8 to 12 hours. The game will be playable both on PC, Steam Deck and consoles, and by consoles I mean PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and the next to come, Switch 2. If we had to resume the experience that we want to transmit, it will be around 3 main pillars. In first, They Make Sound is a journey into the unknown where you will discover the abyss alongside with the character. It's a game about solving mysteries and retrace an ancient civilization, while the exploration is contemplative and meditative. This leads us to our targets. We established that our targets are mostly mid-core players, and by that we mean players that regularly play to video games and have an interest in adventure games. After our research, we established that players among our targets were looking for a feeling of freedom in the game, meaning they want to create their own path, that want lore and narration, along with a strong artistic direction.
A village lives around a huge abyss, your village. For years, they have been sending adventurers down to study the ruins of a mysterious civilization that used to live there. You are one of them, an archaeologist going down to discover their story. But you are different from the others. Your heart doesn't beat. Still, you are alive. At the start of the game, you accidentally activate a strange pillar, a dormant technology belonging to the extinct civilization. Then, a rope made of sound called a lifeline connects to your heart and make it beat. From now on, your life is linked to the lifeline. Unable to detach yourself, you decide to plunge even deeper into the abyss to unravel the civilization mysteries and discover how their story relates to yours.
The character comes from the civilization above the abyss. A character design is made of soft and round shapes that are used to contrast with the danger of the abyss.
They are also voiced and the sounds were all recorded to match the textures and the vibe, to ease the incarnation we want the player to feel.
To succeed her descent into the abyss, she has several artifacts that both come from her civilization and the civilization she make research on. For now, she uses a sonoscope that helps her to capture sound. She also has the vertical rope and the zipline that really are useful to descend deeper into the abyss, but she will discover way more during her journey. Along the expedition, she will sketch and take notes of the multiple encounters she makes. That notebooks allow the player to remember about the narration and to keep track on their journey.
They have got their particular speech things, they kind of magic, and they provide you some effects. So the sonoscope is mainly sound design around floral motifs, and for example here.
In the slice, player can cycle around 3 artifacts using the UI at the bottom left of the screen. In the entire games, the player will have to manage an inventory. This And the rotary will be directly linked to the character backpack, allowing way more immersion into the adventure mindset of the player. Here is a mock-up of what this inventory could look like.
And now, let's dive a bit deeper into the abyss.
That's not the real sound. I swear, I swear.
So, now that we're back on the correct build, at this point we're about 3 hours into the game and we just reached this area, a mining village near the gates of Great City. Our lifeline is connecting to these pillars, meaning that if we die, we'll revive here. But let's just not die yet, right? In DMX Sound, the sonoscope is your best tool to discover new points of interest. Let's put it out. Now let's listen to the surroundings. There is a first harmony here, a glyph, apparently. Then, let's switch to the life form category to see if there is some life forms. There is one by there. Let's see if we can find resources too. Yes, there. Let's not forget to pick it as we go by. Okay, now that we know what to look for, let's go. We can't reach this upper platform by jumping, but it's a perfect situation to use our vertical rope. There we go. It's going to cost us 3 meters of ropes, but it's worth it. As you can see, to facilitate the experience, control reminders are available on the UI. I see a lifeline pillar over there, but let's continue a bit. I won't be able to reach that platform, but I have my zipline. I see doors over there. Interesting. And before we explore more, let's connect ourselves to the pillar.
So we wanted DMX sounds to be accessible for a hearing impaired player. Therefore, we integrated closed captioning in the slice and added a color code to wet context, inspired by the French TV closed caption subtitles. There, you saw a green subtitle that translates the character dialogue. At the same place, there will also be pink subtitles for the music and white subtitles for the character sounds. Spatialized around the screen, red subtitles describe the gameplay sounds around the player. Here, for example, the menacing swirl describes the sound emitted by the jellyfish. In white, subtitles will tell the player about the ambience sound around them. Moreover, we worked on the sonoscope visual feedbacks to match with the sounds. Depending on the frequency we chose, a glyph will appear at the center of the screen if you are near enough. The larger the glyph, the closest you are. The clearer, the more aligned you are.
So we are listening to the jellyfish, and as we thought, this is the life form harmony we listened back there. If I'm searching for the resources, there they are. And where's the glyph? Oh, okay, it's down there. Sadly, as you can see on the bottom left corner, we are a bit short of ropes, so we can't go there yet. Just go on the other platform and grab the resources. We connect to the pillar. We want to go there, but as we stated, we are lacking ropes, so let's just grab the resources. But that jellyfish is interesting. Oh, it's attacking me. We need to go. Let's grab our resources and leave. This is new. It's a switch we can activate with our lifeline power. It's used the sound energy to open the door. Let's go quick until we reach the exit. Our life decreases until we die. We recover the sound energy to make our heart beat again. Safe at last. This is definitely an area where the vertical rope will come in handy. It's going to use a lot of ropes, but we'll hopefully find some later. I see a tower over there. Let's check it out. Those are weird glyphs. I wonder what they mean. They resemble the symbols on the sonoscope. And down there seems like a village. Look, under the rocks. That's something we've never seen before. Is that a golem? And over there, some kind of prison cell. The people from this village must have been held captive in one way or another. Let's grab our sonoscope and... yeah, no sound. Let's resume our exploration. Hey, there is a platform over there that we missed. Let's go. We'll use a vertical rope here. It's lazy, but it's fun. One cool aspect of the lifeline is that we can use it as a backtracking tool. It's a cable car line, but it's no longer in use. Of course, we can slide it. This house is falling apart, but I think it's going to be useful. This area is really massive. I will pull aside and grab my sonoscope to map it out. Okay, so life forms. So one here, one over there, multiple over there. And there, beyond the waterfall, there is something to discover. Let's go there. Oh, nice. Resources. It's a hideout with the skeleton of children and this mural. Our character drew something in a diary. The golems kidnap certain children, but why? Oh yeah, they emit a sound, meaning that their heart did not beat. They had the gift. Maybe that's why they got abducted. Let's get out of here. I hear a lifeline pillar. And that's a lot of jellyfish. Seems like a nest. I wonder... Oh yeah. These stones emit a sound. They are charged with energy, and they sound like a heart. Let's try something. If we throw the stone, the jellyfish will be following it. A new diary entry. Jellyfish are attracted to earth stones because they look up for signs of life, like heartbeats. Another jellyfish. Let's avoid it. I see a lifeline pillar over there, and I think we're done here, so let's go. We reached it, the city's gates. And this will conclude our demo.
The Abyss is a mysterious place with a big variety of atmospheres and environments. In the Abyss remains the ruins of an ancient civilization and a lot of strange life forms that have developed a special link with sounds.
It mainly blends into caves and cavern ambiences, as you kind of heard it. We wanted the ambient sounds to match the vibe in the context. We are doing mock-ups in art department and iterating on it.
For our vertical slice, we only did focus on river chasm, a damp environment in which we can find a lot of bioluminescent life forms, but there is way more to discover into the depth of the abyss.
But where this atmosphere takes place, the abyss is gigantic and holds many secrets. Let's do an overview of the place. First, of course, the abyss entrance is the introduction of the story, the sonoscope, and the first time you discover the lifeline. Then we are following with what we call a classic cave. It's a cave. It's a first open area featuring verticality and horizontality where you use and learn the zipline and vertical rope. It's a classic setting, so we get weirder later on. Then you have the first crossroad and the introduction to the one-way exploration. The player must make a choice between two paths, meaning two biomes. It's an optional narrative. You can't do everything in the abyss. But no major content will be skipped on this. Then we have the Village of the Damned. It's a transition between the exploration and the narrative part of the game. We introduce the jellyfish as the first danger, and the previous chosen path on the crossroad are meeting here. This is our vertical slice, by the way. Followed by the City of the Sealed Heart, where you saw the gates. It's a major narrative zone. We explain major part of the story, and we introduce the next objective, going to the bottom of the abyss. Then it's followed by a second, a third crossroad, and then we finish at the bottom of the abyss where we conclude the story. For all of these, we already started doing some mock-ups of the level design so that we can iterate upon it during the production. But why the Village of the Damned for our vertical slabs? It's basically three parts. The first one is because of the gameplay elements it features. The second one is because the parts of the narration that we wanted to convey. And also it's crafted for our needs. Also, it just looks cool. As you progress through the game, you'll discover that the Abyss civilization was founded by people who, just like you, had a heart that did not beat. Because of the curse, they were banished to the Abyss, where they discovered a sound-based ecosystem. Some trees, rocks, and animals produce sounds. One of these sounds was different, a sacred sound that they started to track down. It's now up to you to discover what this sound was.
We wanted Daymax Sound to be a complete contemplative experience accessible for as many people as possible. For general settings, the game controls are already remappable. Also, in order to facilitate the experience, control remembers are available all over the level as you saw. Sounds are also fully customizable to the player needs. Sliders will allow the players to adjust the volume of several elements like general volume, music, VFX, etc. Player will be able to choose if you want to hear in mono and stereo. And we implemented sensitivity filters like low and high pass, and there will be sliders for players to personalize their own experience. As an alternative to closed caption subtitles, we made a system that allows us to use icons instead. This sound visualization system will be for gameplay sounds, which are the most important for the player. The icon moves in a similar way around the screen as the subtitles, but they stay in a fixed circle. This, in pair with the subtitles, will allow players with hearing impairments to customize their own game experience.
We unfortunately did not have the time to implement everything we wanted for the accessibility, but we still work on it and thought about it. Ideally, player will be able to personalize the subtitle we presented to you before, change the background color, also adapt the color code, have it bigger or smaller. And as you saw before, we are currently working on sound visualization. We will polish this feature and maybe implement it with VFX instead of logos. We want all kinds of players to be able to play Daymax sounds. Therefore, we wanted to implement a scanner to ease the game for those who need it. When activated, scanner will be directly implemented to the sonoscope. When pressing X, sonoscope will scan the environment and directly tells the player where are the objects they're looking for. Finally, we wanted the player to be able to adjust the contrast in the game, as well as the UI, especially its size and colors.
Let's talk about our technical aspects. So our game is made on Unreal Engine 4 5.4, and we use Perforce as for the versionings. To make our game playable and enjoyable, we had to make some decisions and optimizations. For Dynamic Sounds, our bottleneck was the GPU, so we disabled nanite, lumen, and ray tracing. We use static light for the environment and rely on the baked lighting. And to reduce poly count, we opt for the hierarchical and instantiated static meshes, a technology provided by Unreal. So now we can still use the LODs. To help throughout the development, we build regularly and use the Unreal Insight to profile the game and track performance issues. So let's go watch on an average view and a highly dense view. Without doing nothing, we cannot achieve 20 FPS on average, and we were stuck at 6 at worst. But after optimization, we obtained 60 FPS on average and almost 30 at the lowest. But those values were on the Steam Deck. On the workstation we had here, we have 144 FPS on average.
So let's talk a bit about user research. So we had the opportunity to organize one playtest session during the production of our slice. Our main goal was to recruit players representing our target, but we finally decided to also recruit a few of the non-target audience to see their use of the game. We recruited 11 persons. Our playtest mainly focused on the usability of our 3 artifacts. Would players understood them? Would they be able to use them? We created a protocol using qualitative and quantitative data. The results of our tests were globally positive. However, it allowed us to see players had some difficulty using some of the artifacts, so we adapted our design in consequence. For example, we saw that the player has some difficulty when aiming with the ropes artifacts. So we had to work on the camera and add the improvisation of the zipline. So here is the before. And here is the after. As you can see, the camera is closer to the character, and we added a visualization of the character at the end of the rope to help the player. We also saw that the use of the sonoscope was not exactly what we expected, so we adapted our design in consequence. We tweaked the matrix and focused on feedbacks in order to create a more efficient and pleasant experience for the player when using it. Here you can see the before. You can see that the feedbacks were not very clear and very quick. And here is the after. The zone in which the sonoscope can pick up a zone is wider, meaning that the feedbacks are finer and clearer. Also, we modified the blurry effect on the glyph.
Let's now talk about game production and marketing. So in terms of production, we plan to start the production in 9 months from now on. During this period, in addition of our internship, we plan to work on last pre-production needs and publisher research. The production itself can be separated in 3 phases. We will develop our main biomes during the first 10 months, along with last feature. We keep a buffer of 3 months after, with the objective to work on optional zone, and the last 6 months will begin with our marketing campaign and polish phases. The project itself will last for about 19 months and will end around July 2027. Enough planification, let's talk about estimation. If we count the pre-launch, the game will be a 2-year production, and that represents around 2,040 cumulative months, and after calculation, will cost around 1 million euros. We plan to sell the game as a premium model, so it means that player will only need to pay the game once in order to play it. And to set up our game price, we made some estimation based on our direct competitors, and after comparison and calculation, we established a price for our game at 20 euros. In order to reach a break-even state with this game price, we will need to sell around 26,000 copies and reach at least 2,600 reviews on Steam. So this concludes our presentation. Thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask us now or later on the Plateau project.
Thank you. So who wants to start with the question? Yes.
Hi, I'm Cécile. I'm part of the scouting team at Focus Entertainment. Thank you for the presentation. I have some questions about the gameplays and the systems because some things were not super clear for me. So I have two main ones. First thing, it took me a while to realize that the rope and the lifeline were two different things. And I was a bit confused as when the rope resets. And the second question is, what is the use of the resources you pick up?
Thank you for the question and feedback. For the resources, we made a decision to not do what we planned to do for the whole game, for the vertical slice. So for the whole game, we plan to have like a maximum length of rope that you can have at any time, and you have like you would have like some sort of like management with like a physically available resources at the backpack, which help to have this feeling of like you know, like you're inside a huge abyss and you have to survive with what's around it. And it's also interesting so that you have to pick up stuff and make decisions and stuff like that. But it's not on the vertical slice. For the first question, I'm not sure I understood it, but I think that's, is it that like a question about why did we separate the lifeline from the rope itself, or I didn't understand?
Actually, it's not why did you choose not to. It's more of a feedback of like I, as a candid listener of your presentation, it took me a while to realize that they were two different things, and I think I'm not the only one because I talked with my neighbor and he was confused in the same way. Okay, so. So a follow-up question on this, like would the length of rope that is available to the player be used as a progression tool? Like at the beginning I have only a short rope and then later on I get to have greater length, yeah.
We're not sure about that. The thing that's interesting with that idea that we thought about a little bit is if you can have like more place for the back. So maybe if you have more place as you progress, you could have more rope, but we're not sure about that, to be honest. But it's interesting. Like we thought about it a little bit, but not sure. So.
Okay. And just a very last question, and after that I release the mic. Do you, in your level design, do you make it possible for players to explore through different ways? I understood that you can get through biome 1A or biome B before getting to the village, but like within a biome or within the village, can I choose to go left or right or?
Yeah, precisely. These are really open areas. One of the words we used was like systemic exploration. That wasn't really the case for the vertical slice. But as we plan to add and introduce more artifacts, the idea of I can go there if I use this artifact, but I will kind of waste it. So I'd rather go there, then maybe I will be able to go after there. The whole idea of pathing and the use of sonoscope is to plan your movement in the area. So yeah, of course you can go left instead of right. And we didn't show it in the demo because we have to condemn things. But yeah, you can definitely move stuff around.
There are places in the demo that exist, but we chose not to go there. So yes, you didn't see everything that is in the vertical slice in this presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
And to conclude on that, if you want to test the game, you can go on the Plateau project later on.
I will, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. So, next question, yeah. J'ai loupé quelqu'un? Oui, ok, thank you.
Hello, I'm Mathieu from Tactical Adventures. First of all, I want to say a huge congrats on these achievements, both visually, technically, interactively. So, great job. During the presentation, you did a great job also at commenting what was going on. But I thought it was missing maybe some more voicing from the main character, actually saying what you were saying. In the last Indiana Jones game, for example, Indy is commenting a lot, even though there are lots of solo phases. So, and the main character is speaking in an unknown language, so I understand, because she comes from another civilization maybe, but if it was in plain English and more often, maybe it could be interesting to connect more in the game.
Thank you for the feedback. You're actually right. So we had to we recorded more than what we put on the game, but for like planning and technical reason, we didn't put all of it because we planned to have more narrative elements that we didn't include. Some of the stuff that she said was cut too, but you're absolutely right. For the whole game, we would plan to have more voices and the character talking about what she discovers and what she thinks about what's going on and stuff like that. In her language with subtitles in English so that we can understand what she says.
So a few things. First of all, is this a conlang? We have seen in the past few months many games working with conlangs and like fake languages and translation, and it's a really neat niche that's appearing. Are you working on that? That's a first question.
For the character, the words are gibberish, but we have some sort of conlang in the game. Those are the glyphs. They mean something. It's a tech that we develop that allows us to write that language based on English-sounding words using phonetics and phonemes. So each glyph that you saw in the game, even the sonoscope ones, are meaning something. It's something that the player can try to decipher. It's possible. It's not a hard one, and they can completely decipher it, and it will allow to have like another layer of narrative, depending on if the player wants to discover a bit more about the story.
Great. And the second thing is the lifeline. Does it limit where I can move, how far I can move? I think it doesn't in this demo, but in the final game, that's my question.
So we tried it. It doesn't really work. We also have like the rope distance and resource management. We decided to use the lifeline as two tools, a checkpoint, basically, and also as a backtracking tool that allows us to do that. We also use it for other purposes, like the switch that opens the door at the beginning of the demo. We don't plan on having a max distance around lifeline pillars, but we have some ideas to implement some more ideas behind it. One of them being creating like a pass that if you complete like all the lifeline pillars and activate all of them, there is a secret ending or something like that. It's not complete yet, but we have ideas and reflection around the lifeline more than just it's a checkpoint.
Hi, Antoine from Ninja Theory. Thanks for that presentation. It's really great to see the progress and see it like playable on stage. Can't wait to just get my hands on it and just give it a feel. A question I have, you probably mentioned it a bit with artifacts, I think, but what are your plans in terms of character progression, in terms of, like, based on the demo, it seems that you are good, you have the rope, you have the zip line. Is there any other abilities that you plan to add for the players?
So yeah, we plan on multiple things. One of the main aspects that we want the player to feel is player progression first, instead of like we give them an object and that object do something or just an upgrade. Stuff like if you throw a rock, the jellyfish will come, but also if you disconnect yourself from the lifeline, your heart doesn't beat, so the jellyfish doesn't follow. So those kind of puzzles and haha moments that we want to implement that are part of the player progression, but also new artifacts. We have like air one that you throw it, it makes like a tornado and you can fly a bit. We have a teleportation one. Those are kinds of ideas are in the mix, and we are trying to think about how we can implement them. When we are adding them, we are thinking what are the players' options right now, and we don't want them to overlap. So for example, we had a glider at some point that allows us to go to point A to point B and change the elevation. But we already have the zipline for that. So we have to think about other stuff to allow player progression with without too much eating our own design, our core design that we have right there.
Thank you.
Thanks. I think we have time for last. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Remy from Pancake Dacia. I have an idea for the optimization. Maybe you should hire a gardener and cut some of that grass. I'm just kidding. I actually had a question about the story, because you didn't let on too much about the narrative aspects of the game. We can see some dead cities and some like temple gates and stuff, and it's all really cool, but it still has me wondering, is there an actual story, or is it just like guesswork for the player?
So no, we did design like for the vertical slice. We designed a lot of environmental clues and stuff that, for most of them, we couldn't put in the game at the right moment, and we decided to cut because we wanted to polish some stuff instead. But we have lots of ideas for this, and for the whole game also a little bit less, just because we didn't want to plan the whole like story. But we have an idea about like what's inside the like the deepness, and how to tell stories with like really environmental things, and also like interactivity with stuff. For example, like something that we did plan but we decided to cut was like this moment you kind of realize that people who live there have the same thing as you, which is like the gift of your heart doesn't beat, but you're still alive and stuff like that. And so people who lived in the great city that we see in the end, like the big door, they like exclude people that didn't have the gift, and that's what's the village about actually. People who don't have like the gift, and that's why the golem kidnap kids, because you can tell by listening to the things that the kids who were kidnapped were those who get born with the gift actually. So they wanted to take them back, stuff like that. You can understand a lot of the story and what was going on back then by just interacting with stuff and stuff like that.
Yes.
I just wanted to add on the optimization. We know that we are still room to optimize the level. We can add level streaming and stuff like that. We know that it's our first Unreal project, so we are still learning. So we know we can do better.
But one thing maybe we didn't transmit clearly is that the game runs very well. We never go under 30 FPS on Steam Deck. On any gaming PC, we never go under 70, 80 FPS. So an average FPS on gaming PC is more than 100. So
Great joke, by the way. We don't joke with optimization here. we learned it the hard way.
Yeah, we spent quite some time on it. It was a focus of the project. We wanted the game to run well, and we think we achieved it. And yeah.
Thank you.
So let's have a big round of applause for all the team. And these achievements. Congrats, and let's welcome the last team of this morning, Mimic Hunt.
faut aller voir à côté. Elle est pas trop vite, elle est pas trop vite. J'ai peur. Il y a un méchant bruit là. Qui c'est qui a le sifflet déjà? Elle reste.
Welcome to the world of Mimic Hunt. Mimic Hunt is a 4-player cooperative online FPS in which you hunt dangerous and fierce creatures. It takes inspiration from other games as Lethal Company, Prop Hunt, Phasmophobia for mid to hardcore hunters seeking a high quality, thrilling and scary experience with funny social interactions. The mimic hunters earn money by killing mimics, which are dangerous parasites that hide inside human belongings. During the hunt, they have to face very unique and fierce enemies, the mimics. The rule is simple. Anything can be a mimic. They will hide, trap, and challenge the hunters at all costs. With a team of up to 4 hunters, each member will be equipped with guns and gear. Their team must cooperate and strategize without descending into chaos and hopefully survive. Their daily life as mimic hunters bounces between scary and grotesque situations. Today, we have the privilege to have members of the Mimic Hunt Association who are seeking new members.
Hello everybody, and thank you for introducing us. As mentioned, we are seeking new recruits. Our hunters will normally be, well, anyone who hates mimics. But make no mistake, a mimic hunt is dangerous, intense, and not for the faint-hearted. Here's the deal. Our mission calls to 3 types of hunters. First, some of you are all about the teamworks. You're here to hang with your buddies, share some laugh. Then there are those who live for the rush, the sudden scares, the heart-pounding moments, and that raw surge of adrenaline when you're up against the unexpected. Finally, we need the tacticians who thrive on a challenge. You're the ones who dive deep into a hunt mechanic, perfect your skills, and prove yourself. Our call is aimed at mid to hardcore hunters, veterans of fast-paced actions who know their way around a gun and can handle the tight arenas where danger lurks at every turn, but also understand hunts involving complex behavior of the dangerous mimics. So, if you're a group of 4 friends, average hunter, want to spend a good evening by tryharding, focus, but also improve your skill as a hunter, then join us at the Mimic Hunt Association. As you might know, our neighborhood of Smith Point has been infected with mimics, some human-made creatures that can take possession of their surrounding furniture. They were supposedly created by Yersin & Co., a company specialized in biotechnology. Recently, there has been an increase in their activity and they started to attack people in our neighborhood. The reason for why you are all here tonight. We should mention that people know that they have mimics at home when, for example, some furniture disappears or switches places during the night. Pets get scared for no apparent reason, and weird noises appears all around the house. In a mimic hunt, the concept is simple. Anything can be a mimic. Mimics are a unique type of enemy as it is part of its environment and will always surprise you. They have a complex and unpredictable behavior, and they can even switch form. A table, a chair, a shelf, a fridge, you will be surprised and attacked by the most common objects in the house at any given time. Again, anything can be a mimic.
So you may ask yourself, what is a mimic? So before we talk about the job, we will first give you a quick introduction to the filthy beasts themselves. A mimic is a predatory and parasitic creature. They hunt and eat other species to grow. The more they eat, the bigger they grow, and the more dangerous for humans they get. They possess objects in order to hide and to use them as a shell. As mimics do not have eyes, they also do not have vision. However, They have a strong sense of hearing, and loud noises make them aggressive. During the day, mimics are indistinguishable from regular furniture, but become particularly dangerous at night when they start hunting. For these reasons, we have every day a very limited time window of a few minutes at dusk where they start waking up. After that, they start becoming too dangerous for us to manage, as they are able to communicate and hunt as packs. Now let's take a look at the anatomy of a mimic. After all, you need to know your enemy in order to combat it. As you can see, we made sketches of the organs you need to know. They have strong jaws and will attack you with a slash of their tongue, meaning you should avoid it, or it will kill you in a couple of slashes. They have long legs that enable them to run quickly. They have multiple hearts, which look like big orange bubbles. In order to kill a mimic quickly, you need to destroy the hearts, but you can also damage the mimic by piercing its host object.
Now let's talk about their behavior. You may see this creature and think, oh, what a cute animal. I don't want to kill it, I want to pet it. But do not be fooled, because mimics are vicious and dangerous creatures who can kill a group of hunters in a matter of seconds. We have identified 3 main phases in their behavior. They will start hidden as part of the furniture, trying to surprise you and waiting for the best opportunity to attack. Then, they will attack you and your friend, and finally, when they feel in danger or anger, they will flee across the house, leaving their current furniture behind and choosing a new one. So, how do you spot a mimic? You can first spot a mimic through sounds. Even when hidden, they move around a little bit and you can hear their steps. Mimics also communicate with their peers. For example, when a mimic screams in agony, all the others will answer. It sounds like this. A hurt mimic can also become sadistic and try to lure you in, especially when hurt. You can also spot them through their behaviors. They will sometimes shiver ever so slightly. Possession is also a violent process. When the mimic possesses furniture, it often knocks it over a little bit, so if something is a little bit out of place, it might be a mimic. But if you're in doubt, remember that you can always poke it, and if it's a mimic, it will react. So let's have a look at what awaits you when you join us. When you join the association, you can create a new local branch or join an already existing one. After that, you will be able to meet the other mimic hunters in your local headquarters. Here you can read news about the mimic issue or investigation about Yersin & Co.'s activities and everything we know about the mimics. You can also check the current state of the neighborhood capacity to help you, as well as buy tools and weapons from the local stores. Your headquarters is also a training ground where you will be able to gear up for the next mission and train at the shooting range. Once everybody feels ready, you can put on your suit and select the next contract. For the suits, as mimic hunter is a dangerous job, we needed a suit that protects the hunters no matter what, so we repurposed old pest control suits. You are free to make your suit your own by changing the colors or putting on a hat.
As soon as you join the association, you will of course be provided with the proper tools to fight the mimics. These tools entail weapons. We have different weapons, for example, revolvers or shotguns, and they vary in their precision and their damage output. You can choose whatever fits your hunting style best. We also have special items to combat the mimics. These items, however, I will talk about them soon more. These items, however, do only help you in cooperation, and generally these gears make it able for you to specialize in a certain role while you hunt with your teammates. So let's first talk about the revolver. The revolver is our starter weapon, so just as a disclaimer, when you join the association, you will be provided with beginner's gear. As soon as you had a few more successes within the association, you will unlock more gear. So the revolver has very, or rather accurate fire, it has medium damage output, it has a medium fire rate and reload time, and generally it does low damage on teammates. So it is a versatile weapon with a low potential for collateral damage. Let's take a look at the first item that we have for you. It is the whistle. So when you use the whistle, mimics will answer to you, and also when you're in combat, you can use the whistle to make mimics attack the next. However, from my experience, it also makes the mimic a bit angry. And I was even able to bring one of the whistles with me today. I will not use it because we heard there might be some mimics around here, so just in case. Anyways, let's go to the next item. The next one is the ice spray. With the ice spray, you can spray the mimic and it will be slowed. However, if you mess up, you can also slow your teammates, which is not so good, and they will also take damage from it, so use it carefully, please. This is the last beginner's item that we have for you, which is the ammo box. Once in a mission, you can place it on the ground, and it allows your teammates and yourself to refill your ammo once. So one of the most seen mistakes we have by new hunters is that they do not choose their items and gear according to the contracts that they're going to do. So every mission that you're going on is connected to a contract, and in our headquarters you can read up on the different contracts that you can take on. On the contracts you can see information about the situation that you're in, how many mimics you're going to face there, how difficult the contract is in general, and how much collateral damage you can do before you will face penalties. So always choose accordingly. So now let's look at the usual day of a hunter again. So you're geared up and you're ready to enter the house and hunt the mimics. So this is what the usual hunt would look like. You go into the house, you listen for sound cues and try to find the mimic. Then you find a mimic. You use the items and your tactics to kill it. Ideally, you kill it immediately. If not, then mimics tend to flee, as we mentioned before. And then you need to scout the house again. And at some point, you will have killed all the mimics, and you can leave, or you decide to abort the mission before, or you die, but if you listen closely to us, this will of course not happen. So, we also have a recommended tactic with the beginner's items that we provide you with. So first you try to find the mimic, then you try to freeze the mimic without having it surprise attack you. Anyways, then you shoot all the hearts of the mimic when it's frozen, so it does not flee, and then you refill your ammo. In the following, we will watch a gameplay, a hunting video of a few hunters who will encounter mimics, and it will progressively get not so good, and afterwards we will try to analyze together what they did right and what they did wrong. Please watch carefully. Okay, let's go.
There is a lot
I heard
of
them
noise.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it's in the garage.
Be careful, be careful.
Okay, Francie, you pocket.
No. Someone with the spray should poke it.
Yes, I poke. Oh.
GG, guys.
That's what I like to
That's not
see.
someone.
Maybe.
I think it's maybe someone else should poke. Maybe Tom can poke.
Fred.
No, I
Fred,
don't poke. I stay in the back.
Fred.
I'm low
Fred, let me give you a little adrenaline rush.
No.
I'm dying! So now you have like 5 HP, and this is like, you know, you're fighting for your life for real, you know?
Stop!
Okay, I poke it.
Okay, we poked everywhere.
Yes.
I think it's not here.
It's not here. I poked them already. Upstairs, maybe.
Kitchen?
I mean, I think Fred is better when he is on the verge of dying. You know?
There are plenty of chairs here. Too much time to process the information.
Do not hit.
Need to reload.
Hit.
You have to reload.
Oh my god, it's so low, it's so low, it's so low.
Oh shit. Maybe in the living room.
Living room? Oh, where is everyone?
Maybe it's the second microwave.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, we lost Fred. Oh no.
Fred's dead.
Let it go, let it go. Okay, we lost 2 people.
Still have a spray?
Surfing, that's fun too.
Okay, I need to get more ammo from the living room. Tom?
Yeah, I'm just saluting the body of my fellow friend.
Oh no.
Ciao, mon pote.
Okay, well, I need to pick up some ammo.
Okay, me too. Oh.
I think it's in the. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Don't run, don't run, don't run, don't run, don't run! Oh, nice. Oh.
Okay.
Thank you very much. That was definitely not us. I hope you watched carefully. So, hunting do's and don'ts. Okay. Do communicate with your teammates. Do use the items that we provide you with. And if it gets too dangerous, please extract. There is no shame in failing a mission. It's not worth to die. Don't scream. Do not run around the house. Do not go alone. Also, do not waste your bullets, please. And also, do not die. Thank you.
So now let's talk about where you will be hunting. As mimic hunters, you will work in everyday environments. Houses, offices, restaurants, warehouses. But generally, mimics like to have some space for them. So you should have enough room to enter and navigate infestation sites with your teammates. Be careful though. Those indoors are the perfect setting for those creatures to take you off guard and run away if you're not organized enough. And if you feel oppressed by the tight rooms and corridors, don't be too relieved by entering a larger room. It only means that you are surrounded by more potential threats. Let's have a look at a typical example of the kind of location where you will have to face mimics. The Simpson family case represents a really relevant example of an infestation site. This big family house presents a complex room layout with multiple connections between them, and it's spread on 3 floors. Only the more versatile hunters, able to fastly adapt, learn the place, can succeed a mission like that. Its maze-like structure with a lot of turns and dead angles prevent you to have a clear view of every part of your surroundings. It makes it very difficult to keep track on the mimics, but also on your fellow hunters. Make sure to work as a team to spread smartly in the environment. It will allow you to help each other and to cut off the retreat of a fleeing mimic.
Here are some photos taken in the Simpson family house during our last mission. Pay attention to the details, stay focused, and communicate with your teammates during your hunt. Everything is strange, and anything could be a mimic. As our mission takes place at the end of the day, when the mimics are most active, be cautious of shadowy areas where danger might be hiding. Also, watch out for long shadowed area on the ground, which could be misleading. During our last mission, we noticed electrical issues potentially linked to the presence of mimic. Our team is still investigating the exact cause.
Once inside the house, you will need to be very cautious of the surroundings. You will hear off-tune layers and feel weirdness. Everything feels strange looking, everything keeps you on edge, but you must stay aware at the seamless sound clue about a possible mimic presence. But don't get fooled by your own imagination either, because mimics can lure you.
To complete your contract, at least one hunter have to extract before the sun disappears. Otherwise, everyone will be considered dead, and your reward will be impacted by that. At the end of the contract, no matter if it's a success or disaster, your local branch will receive a report detailing the rewards. Mimic hunters are paid by donations, for each mimic killed and for each infestation site cleared of the mimic presence. You will get bonuses for not damaging the stuff of the recreators, but you will have to pay penalties if you damage too much items from them.
You will also have to pay to retrieve the hunter's body left behind. This report will also detail the progression of the neighborhood capacity to help you in providing you new tools and weapons. After receiving this report, you will be able to return to your headquarters and prepare yourself for the next mission. Back to the headquarters, Mimic Hunters will be able to check the current state of the neighborhood capacity to help the association. The more the neighborhood don't have to deal with the Mimic problem, the more they can help your local branch. This help takes the form of new tools and weapons you will be able to buy. Obviously, it's harder for the neighborhood to give you access to the best equipment, so it will take some effort to reach that point.
Now, let's focus a bit on what you can expect to make your life easier as a Mimic Hunter. To make the best of your hunt, you'll need to use all of your gear and keep on the move as you look around and deal with the mimics around you. Of course, all controls can be easily rebinded, and we also support gamepad controllers. Hunting mimics is a demanding job, so we made sure to include lots of features and options to help you out. Since players need a lot of cooperation, we implemented extensive user interfaces to help them out, complete with colorblind friendly icons. And to make sure everyone can communicate easily with their fellow hunters, we also added emotes and pings to relay information quickly, even without a mic. And there's even more accessibility features coming in the full game. We've already designed and started implementing a live caption system, transcribing everyone's speech on screen, with the option of translating it for a nice time with hunters from across the world. Since multiplayer games can be a hassle for groups, especially with bad connections, we've already planned ahead to allow players to easily join game in progress, even pausing the game for everyone if necessary. And we've started the groundwork to add in gyroscope aiming to make sure shooting and moving feels as good on controllers as it does with the keyboard and the mouse.
We conducted 2 playtest sessions, gathering feedback from over 40 brave Mimic Hunters, which is amazing. So the results were really promising. Players enjoyed the game and made good use of the proximity voice chat for communication, which was one of our primary goals. Additionally, feedbacks on Mimics allowed us to make them feel more dangerous and threatening, providing players with a satisfying level of challenge. We also focused on how players understood the game's mechanics and the tools available to them, which led to improvements in the interface, as well as the implementation of clearer signs and feedbacks. As a result of these insights, we believe that we've managed to craft a fun, challenging, and engaging experience for our players.
Now, Mimic Hunts remains a game and needs a commercial potential. So as said as introduction, Mimic Hut is very strongly inspired by very successful genres like the FPS, the horror, social, cooperation, and successful titles. Our objective was to take the best of these games and merge them together and propose a very unique experience where you can get the track and the thrill of a Phasmophobia, the tactical shooting and the cooperation of a Left 4 Dead, and the absurdity of a Lethal Company. Regarding its distribution, and based on the analysis of similar successful games, we plan to release Mimic Hunts on an early access buy-to-play model for around €9. We plan to release Mimic Hunt on PC first, only for the moment, as our main audience is on this platform, and it will be way easier for us to release the game as an independent studio. Given our type of game, we plan to release Mimic Hunt early access on the 1st of July in order to get players early on, finance the rest of the production until October, gather plenty of feedbacks for the game, and start creating a community. The full version of the game is planned for the 1st of October, for the Halloween period, but way before the swarm of horror games that release at this moment. Production-wise, so we are on the Valentine's Day, so 14th of February, with a vertical slice, which contains about 30% of our global game content. But most importantly, it contains all the base features and systems for the game. The online systems, like the lobby that you've seen, some systems for the Mimic generation, Mimic animation, Mimic AI, the systems of weapons, the system of items, the systems of interactions, the game loop, the character customization, everything is here to help us make the production. We prioritize these features, both to tackle technical issues and so they could be functional and reusable for the rest of the production. Given this, we think we can reach 100% completion on mid-August and keep a moment in September to treat early access player feedback and debug the game. Now, of course, making a full Mimic Hunt association run correctly costs some money. We estimate our cost to 300,000 euros until the game is released in October. We expect a revenue of 100,000 euros over the early access and 200,000 euros for the full game release. We would then ask for 100,000 euros for the CNC to go off the early access and continue development until the full release of the game. Anyways, this is your loyal Mimic Hunt staff, composed of Jérémy, Laura, Simon, Franziska, Frédéric, Tom, Florian, Alexandre, Leo, and myself. We are still recruiting new hunters to hunt down mimics in the neighborhood and maybe have a little bit of fun. But remember, anything can kill your friends. Anything can kill you. Anything can be a mimic. Join the Mimic Hunters today. Thank you very much for your attention, and we have many questions.
Thank you. So, who wants to apply first?
Hello. Sorry. Hello, this is still Mathieu from Tactical Adventures. First of all, bravo for the presentation and awesome achievement as well on the build. Very impressive. I want to play today. I'll come back later. Just a question. When you played well together in cooperation, it felt like it was almost easy to defeat one of the mimics with the proper use of ice and guns. So what does the game become hectic and chaotic? How can you fail? Is it because some monsters, because in games like Left 4 Dead, for example, there's boss zombies coming and bringing havoc to an otherwise manageable situation? So how do you think, is it the number and amount of mimic you have to face in each situation, or are there maybe some mimics resisting ice all at once and making the game more difficult?
Yes, so in the full game there would be, of course, more types of mimics and different strategies that you will need to use to combat them. However, in the current version of the game, yes, the mimics are easy to face if you use the correct tactics and you can communicate well. But if you don't do that, then it can turn sideways really quickly, which also for us as devs is quite easy, quite difficult to do, as you've seen. Yeah, and yeah, that's basically it. You need to communicate very well, and that can go sideways. And also, mimics are not that predictable, so you can also be attacked. So your plan just goes off the rails completely.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hi, Antoine from Ninja Theory. I think this is a good thing, like to try and find like an alternative job as a mimic hunter, considering the state of the game industry. I hope it pays good. Really, just great presentation. It's great to see like all like just keeping the theme of the mimic hunters. You all just having the same T-shirt is just amazing. So like, congrats on that. Seeing the progress, yeah, seeing the progress as well from like the first presentation, and you getting more into like the goofiness of it and everything. It's just really great work on all of that. I mean, with all of that, you also kind of mention some kind of backstory and like some story elements. Is that something you want to explore in the game, or is that something that you want to try and let player just discover, or more of a just like, hey, there's a story, but let players have a wiki of stuff they can discover?
Yeah, it will be more like you found some intels, you can read some stuff in the headquarters, for example, just to put some backstory behind it, but it will not be a very narrative-driven game.
So like there wouldn't be like it would just remain that very arcade, and you wouldn't imagine like having a story mode like built into the game based on that?
No, definitely not. It will be like, okay, this company created the mimic,
some contracts have some kind of story. Okay, this person got a mimic infestation because they were, for example, trying to sue the company, stuff like that. But it won't go further.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Lily from Arte. Again, congratulations for the presentation. It's not my type of game, but I'm kind of looking forward to test it. I have two questions. One is regarding the last one. So we understand that it's not a narrative-driven game, and it's mostly about cooperation and multiplayer gaming. But is there an end to it, or is it just like a limited mimic hunt planned?
Yeah, so when you start, when you create a save to play with your friend, you will have a progression linked to the save. Like you will gain reach new levels that will unlock you new tools, new weapons, and stuff like that. And you will be able to reach a max level. After that, you won't be you won't unlock new stuff. So you will be able to play as long as you want to test new combination with everything you unlocked. And at any moment, for example, you can reset your save to maybe unlock, for example, some skins and stuff like that, legendary items that are linked to your account. And you can start from scratch to try new stuff and find again the thrill of the beginning when you have, for example, less powerful items and stuff like that.
That's really interesting. And my last question was about the character design of the mimics. I heard you say that they don't have eyes, but the one thing, I mean, I first thought they were eyes, the hearts, and I wonder if that's something that came up in the playtests or during your work together.
Yeah, some people tend to talk about them as eyes. They were never meant to be eyes, but I see the resemblance. However, initially there was supposed to be like glands that serve to create some sort of goo for the mimics. So that's something we want to implement in a full game, so they can like spurt this goo on the ground to slow you down or to hurt you. It would make more sense in this with these features.
That's also really interesting. Thank you.
Hi, Remy from Pancake Data. You mentioned unlocking more tools and weapons. So obviously you have, I mean, I guess you have ideas for more tools and weapons that what you've showed us. So I really like to hear some about that, but also maybe more interestingly, where would you stop with that? How many tools and weapons is enough not to be too confusing for the players?
Yeah, so we worked on a bit chart for the game, and we worked on the progression to have some kind of a path. So we were thinking about around 15 to 20 weapons at the release of the game. That's a lot. And we're thinking to have very different uses for them. For example, when you reach further in the game, you will be able to unlock, for example, a saw blade thrower, for example, that you will be able to cut the tongue of the mimic or maybe the legs. More classic weapons with, for example, shotgun and stuff like that, but also with new type of ammunitions, like, for example, poison ammo that will do damage over time for a mimic, or, for example, for a shotgun, some kind of dragon breath shells that will spit fire everywhere, but it will do a lot of damage around in the environment. And for the tools, for example, we were thinking of, for example, some kind of tracking dart you stick it to a mimic and you will be able to follow it for a few seconds in the environment, even if it goes out of sight. Or I don't know, we also thought of some kind of defibrillator, for example, to revive a teammate with a one use, for example, to encourage cooperation. And also traps, yeah. For example, you will be able to place some kind of bear traps to a door, and it will catch a mimic trying to flee if it goes by that.
Nice, thank you.
Thanks, yeah.
Thank you. I'm imagining this game doesn't have a single player option, and is it necessary to have 4 players, or can it be played by maybe 2, 3? That's a quick question. Then you talked about unlocking skins, aesthetics, right? So are those for account or per save?
So about your first question, so the game is definitely not as pleasant alone than with playing with friends, but you can play, for example, with 2 or 3 players. No, you don't have to be 4, for example. But and we will be able, for example, to have some kind of balancing, like reducing the number of mimics or the health, depending on the number of players playing. To make it a bit more playable, even if you're not a 4-player. And about the kind of stuff you can unlock by reaching the max level, some kind of skin and stuff like that, it will connect it to an account. It's really rewarding to reset your save with your friends to unlock something that you keep forever, and you can, for example, show off, oh yeah, I reached that amount of time the max level on Mimic Current because I unlocked this skin, and you can to try to show off a bit.
Okay, so weapons and mechanical elements are per save, and then aesthetical elements are per account.
Yeah, like
okay. Thank you.
You have mentioned customization. It's cool, but it's an impact for the stat.
Sorry.
Statistic, for example, defense, etc., or just custom for skin.
Yeah, no, we don't have, like, for example, armor stat, like you have more HP by wearing this suit or this one. It's only to your different teammates, like, okay, Franzi got the cowboy hat, and for example, Laura got like the kind of beekeeper net on the face, and you try to be, it will be easier for you to recognize your mate like that.
Hello, Lucas from Ubisoft Bordeaux. Well, first of all, thank you for the presentation. As always a pleasure to see your game evolve. I had a question which is about the headquarter, because I feel like this is quite an important feature in your core loop, but you chose to not show it in the vertical slice. And I would like to know if you can explain why it's not part of the vertical slice yet.
Because we wanted to be more focused on the core gameplay in the hunt of the loop, but you will be able to see to play in it in the headquarters, for example, to test our shooting range. For example, we were to do some target practice, and because it's a part of the game that is of the vertical slice that is not fully polished. For example, it's supposed to be the place where you can buy weapons, access to the association stash to gear up, with what you have already buy, to select the contract, the different contracts, and so we decided for the presentation to be really focused on what's fully polished for the vertical slice.
Okay, so I'll be able to play it after? Okay.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we didn't go really into it because, as Leo said, we want to present what's polished the most, so the gameplay side. But no, you can definitely go into the headquarters, go to the shooting range, pick the items, try them out, kill your friends, try out the voice chat feature, have the tutorials, all the inputs. Yeah, no, it's completely here and working. Yeah, maybe we should have emphasized this a little bit more in the presentation, but it's definitely here and working. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There's already people wanting to apply, I can see. Some other questions or remarks? Yeah.
You mentioned that you want to release the game on early access.
Yes.
How do you plan to use the community? Like, what kind of stuff do you plan to do to kind of publicize the game? Is there any idea like how to make it more, having some community-centered features of the game? Basically, did you think about this?
One of the main community features that we would think of is, of course, the streaming potential that the game can have. Ideally, that would reach the biggest streamers on Twitch, but this is not how it usually goes, unless we are very, very lucky, but this is not something we should plan on. The idea is basically to reach little Twitch streamers. Then they start advertising the game just by playing it. Then you get players, and then, yeah, the way it works is the more player we have, the more player we will have. So we need to start somewhere, go with the small streamers. They will have to play with friends because it's a multiplayer game. And then growing up like this until we eventually, hopefully, reach bigger Twitchers, yeah.
Kind of where I wanted to go with this is like to see if you had any even like gameplay, like trying to leverage the idea of like having a modding options, not right now, of course, just later on, like modding options or Twitch integrations. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I think the game definitely suits modding, so it's definitely not in the game as now. But yeah, it could be definitely something to implement. Ideally for the early access, if not for the full release. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Some more questions, remarks? No. So if no, let's congrats the team.
And the externs, thank you.
And all congrats for all the team of this morning. So this ends our morning session. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the exchange. As you've heard, you will have the ability to, the possibility to test all the games you've seen this morning on the Plateau Projet and discuss with the teams for sure. Maybe let's take a break now, and you can reach them at, I don't know, starting 1:15 until 2. And so let's meet again at 2. Good rest to everybody. Thank you for being here, and see you there at 2.